That's why I think it was a mistake for Western leaders to visit President Xi.
Well, just 2 days ago, French President Emmanuel Macron gave an interview in which he said that Europe should not get involved in a conflict between the United States and China.
During his trip, Macron has repeatedly pushed his counterpart Xi Jinping to help end the conflict in Ukraine.
France Macron declares war on the US dollar. Is the end of the dollar's dominance near? French President Emmanuel Macron's recent comments on Europe's relationship with the US and China. Macron believes that Europe needs to reduce its dependence on the US dollar and avoid becoming vassals to the US. In this video, we'll explore what this means and why it's important. Welcome to Economic Echoes, the channel that brings you the latest news and analysis on the most pressing economic, geopolitical, and financial issues of our time. If you're interested in staying up to date on the latest trends and developments in these areas, then you've come to the right place. But before we dive into today's video, we want to take a moment to invite you to join our community of engaged and informed viewers by hitting that like button, subscribe, and turn on notification bell button. By this, you'll never miss content as we dive into the most pressing issues of our time. Macron recently returned from a 3-day visit to China, where he met with Chinese President Xi Jinping. He believes that Europe should avoid getting caught up in a conflict between the US and China and instead focus on its own strategic autonomy. But what does this mean? According to Macron, Europe commonly gets caught in third-party affairs that affect its possibilities of developing strategic autonomy. In other words, Europe needs to have its own say on security, defense, and foreign policy issues that have usually been controlled by the US. Macron believes that this behavior of the European Union bloc is reducing it to be considered mere followers of the US. Macron also stated that Europe has become dependent on the US on the energy and military front. He proposes to boost the development of European alternatives and criticized the dependence that the bloc has on the US dollar, explaining it might hurt them in the future. While European countries have not been targeted by US dollar-centric sanctions, European companies often complain that they can't conduct business with sanctioned countries and entities due to the risk of being targeted by secondary sanctions. Macron's comments on reducing dependence on the US dollar are particularly interesting. He believes that if tensions between the US and China heat up, Europe won't have the time nor the resources to finance its strategic autonomy and could become vassals. In other words, Europe could become overly reliant on the US and lose its ability to make decisions on its own. This is a valid concern, as the US dollar plays a major role in global trade and finance. However, this dependence on the US dollar has also caused problems for other countries. China, Russia, and other countries of the BRICS bloc are currently working on developing alternatives to the use of the US dollar for conducting trade and financial activities. In conclusion, Macron's comments on Europe's relationship with the US and China highlight the importance of developing strategic autonomy. Europe needs to have its own say on security, defense, and foreign policy issues that have usually been controlled by the US. Reducing dependence on the US dollar is also important to ensure that Europe doesn't become overly reliant on the US. What do you think about President Macron's stance on the dollar dependence of Europe? Do you believe that the US dollar's dominance is sustainable in the long term? What might be the consequences of a shift away from the dollar as the dominant currency? Tell us in the comments section below. Thank you for watching our video. We hope you found it informative and thought-provoking. We value your opinion and would love to hear your thoughts in the comments section below. Your feedback will help us to create more relevant and engaging content for you in the future. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel and turning on the notification bell to stay up to date with our latest videos. By subscribing, you'll never miss out on any new content that we produce. Lastly, if you found this video helpful, please hit the like button. Your likes help our video to rank higher in the YouTube algorithm, which means that more people will be able to find and benefit from our content. Thank you again for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the comments section and the future videos.